If you've been building something with Claude, a workflow, a content system, an AI thing, anything, and you keep hearing people mention Claude.md, like, of course you know what it is. So you went and watched a tutorial, maybe two. And the whole time you are sitting there thinking, okay, but what does this actually mean for me? Because every single explanation sounds like it's written for a software developer, and you're not a developer, you're just a person trying to build something useful. And the frustrating part is everyone's saying Claude.md will change how you use Claude forever. If you are not using Claude.md, you are doing it wrong. But nobody's explaining how to actually use it if you are building a content system or a workflow or just trying to get Claude to do something consistently for your projects or business. That is what this video is for. What does Claude.md mean for you? Why you need it? What belongs in it and what doesn't? What is the advanced way to use it? How a real one is built? The signals that tell you if yours is working? And how to make it smarter every time you use it. So here's the problem. Every time you start a new conversation with Claude, it starts fresh. It doesn't remember what you told it last time. It doesn't know how you like things done. It doesn't know what your brand sounds like, what your system is, and what your rules are. You have to re-explain everything, every single time. And if you're building something, a real workflow, a real system, that gets exhausting fast. You spend half your time just getting Claude up to speed before you can even start. Also, Claude has a 1 million context window, a limit to how much it can hold in one session. Hit a limit and you need to start fresh. As you can see here in this situation, Compact is no longer working. For those new to this, Compact is Claude's way of compressing a long conversation to free up space and keep going. Or sometimes you just want to start a new session. Switch tasks, try some experiments, hand something off to a different agent. The moment the session closes, everything Claude knew about your project in the conversation disappears. Claude.md is the fix for that. Think of it like a briefing document you can write once. The Claude reads first before it does anything in your project. Like if you hired a new assistant and on their first day you handed in a document that said, "What we never do, here's what matters," except you don't have to hand it over every time, it's just there. Every session automatically. That's it, that's Claude.md. It's not a coding thing, definitely not technical, just a document that you write in plain language that tells Claude what it needs to know about your project before it starts working. Now lots of people might go like, okay, that sounds great, then how I'm gonna have one? But before that, here's the mistake people are making. They put everything in Claude.md, but the longer your Claude.md, the more tokens it's gonna cost you every session. So you only put the stuff that's true every time, and for everything else like your brand voice, your brand kit, your templates, you just reference those files. You don't paste them in. That way Claude only reads them when the task actually needs them. It works way more efficient. So here's the breakdown. What stays in? Your workflow. How your system actually flows step by step. Where things live, which folders, which files, which tools do that. Claude needs to know the map. Hard rules, especially the one that comes from real mistakes. The things you learn the hard way. Write them down here so Claude never repeats them. References to other files, your brand voice doc, your templates, your content pillars. Link to them, don't paste them here. Keep this file link. Working principles, how you want Claude to behave. Think before acting. Ask when something's unclear. Keep things simple. What stays out? Full prompts that belonged inside individual agent or command files. Those live there, not here. Anything that changes constantly, put it in its own file and reference it. Long background reading or explanations. This isn't a knowledge base, it's a briefing. Passwords, API keys, anything sensitive, never in here. Now here's where it gets really powerful, and this is the more advanced way to use Claude.md, using it as orchestration. Let me show you what I mean. I have a marketing project with 5 agents, and here's an actual section from the project's Claude.md. If the request is about cold emails or outreach, route to the outreach agent. LinkedIn posts, YouTube scripts, route to the content creator. Full campaign launch, the campaign manager takes the lead and coordinates the others. So when I type campaign launch for a new AI system built over targeting marketing agencies, it comes back with a campaign brief. I approve it, and then it runs the whole job. You can see here which agent is doing which part, all in one go. That's what orchestration actually means. One document that tells the whole system how to behave, who handles what everyone reads before they start. And because it's all written in Claude.md, you don't manage it. It just runs. This is the way how I like to use it as a system, not just a chat tool. And here's the thing most people get around about Claude.md. They treat it like a setup task. Write it once, move on. Check it off the list. And then 6 months later, they are wondering why Claude keeps making the same mistake they fixed in a conversation but never wrote down. Or why the new agent they added doesn't quite fit the rest of the system. They go back and look at the file, it hasn't been touched, but the system has moved on. In this situation, Claude is working from a reality that no longer exists. So CLAUDE.md is basically a living document. It's not something you write and forget. You have to maintain it. And the habit is simple. When something changes, update the file. When you learn something, write it down. When the workflow shifts, reflect that. When you add a new agent or a new step, it goes in. And every now and then, just clean it up, simplify, cut the stuff that's no longer true, remove the duplication, fix anything that contradicts itself, keep it tight. Because here's what happens when you do that consistently. The system gets smarter over time. Every session compounds, every correction sticks. 6 months in, Claude isn't making rookie mistakes because those mistakes are already in the file. A year in, your system knows things about how you work that you struggle to explain to a new hire. That's the compounding effect. And it starts with one habit. When something changes, write it down. But updating doesn't mean adding everything, because a bloated CLAUDE.md is just as bad as an empty one. So before anything else is placed in the file, here's the fastest way to know if a rule is actually doing anything. Pick one rule from your file. Run a request with it in there. Then delete the root and run the exact same request again. If the output looks the same both times, Claude was already doing that on its own. The rule is just noise. Cut it. If the output is clearly worse without it, that rule is pulling weight. Keep it. Do this with anything you are not sure about. Your CLAUDE.md should only have rules that pass the test. Once you've run the test, you will start to notice patterns. Here are the green flags that tell you your system is working and the red flags that tell you something's off. First, green flags. Claude gets your voice and the format right on the first try, without you having to remind it. That's the file doing its job. You stop making the same corrections every session. The things you fixed last week stays fixed. Outputs land in the right place, named the way you like, automatically. No cleanup, no redirecting. New tasks. Ones you've never done before, still feel like you, like your assistant, without any extra prompting. And here are some red flags. Claude follows a route one session and ignores it next. Your file is probably too long, or there's a contradiction in there somewhere. Two rules pulling in opposite directions. It does something you explicitly told it not to do, the instruction is buried. Too much other text is competing for attention and winning. You look at half the rules in your file and can't remember what you wrote down. That's not a small problem. That's a sign the whole file needs a cleanup. No more rules, a cleanup. Then how to write your own CLAUDE.md. Here's my honest take on this, and it's probably not what you've heard before. If you are new to this, if you don't have a system yet, don't start with CLAUDE.md. Seriously, don't sit down and try to write one from scratch before you've built anything. You won't know what to put in it because you haven't run into the problems yet. You don't know your workflow, your rules, your lessons learned, because you haven't learned anything yet. Build something first, a workflow, accounting system, and automation. Whatever you are working on, get it running, get it to a point where it's actually doing something useful. And then once you know it works, just ask Claude to write CLAUDE.md for you based on what you build together. It will know the workflow, the structure. Then it can draft the whole thing from your conversation history. That's the easiest starting point. Now, if you already have a system, go back through everything we covered in this video. The workflow, the hard rules, the references, everything. Use that as your checklist. See what's missing from what you already have. And then just improve it as you go. You don't need to get it perfect on the first pass. Nobody does. The whole point is that it evolves with your system. Start simple, keep it linked, let it grow with you.